When I went to run power back here, I was gonna have to cut a 50-foot path for them to run the electrical wires, right? So it's about 1,500 feet from my house to the road. And I didn't want to pay the amount of money that it would cost to run that far. I didn't want to cut the trees down because you can't see my house from the road. Tried to get my neighbors to give me an easement through their property. I would buy an easement. What is an easement? An easement is you go to a neighbor and say, hey, I got this water line I want to put in my house. Would you let me run it through a little piece of your yard? Is that okay? No. What if I give you $10,000? Is it okay then? Well, yeah. You know, and you do it, and then that gets recorded with the state, and when it gets recorded with the state, that's permanent. That piece of land, you always have the right, once you get an easement on it, to run that through that piece of land. It doesn't go away. None of my neighbors were willing to give me an easement to run through their land with the power. Okay. Or the water. Went in, and I went and talked to one neighbor, and I tried to buy a piece of land from him because there's another road over there that would get me here easier than the way we come in. But he wasn't interested in selling any of his stuff. That was just dead. I couldn't get an easement for water. I couldn't get an easement for electric. I couldn't get anything. So then I went and talked to the next neighbor, and I asked him, I said, look, he really can't get to this piece of land from his house because if you look at this valley right here, it's just not good. So what I did was I said, hey, I'd like to buy 60 feet of your land across the whole back of your land. So that's what I did. And he told me, he asked me, he said, how much are you willing to give me for that? I said, how about $15,000? I'm thinking 15,000 is gonna be, this is probably about an acre. You know, that's a good price and it's completely unusable. He's an older guy in his 90s. And he said, well, he said, 15,000 sounds good, but 25,000 sounds a lot better. Oh my gosh. So my thought is, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, 25,000, I can buy this piece of land. Probably to run it from my house to that road will probably cost me $45,000. Okay. And then I got to go in there and spend whatever it's going to cost me to cut the trees down and have all of that garbage in there, and it makes it ugly. I don't want that. I agreed to give him the $25,000. So he sold me that piece of land. So this post right here is the 60 feet. So I go from there over 60 feet that way. This right here is a pull box. So remember we did the transformer earlier, talking about the transformer. With a transformer, this power is coming from way over there. You can't even see the pole from where we are. So it comes from way over there. So they can only pull so many linear feet. They couldn't pull from there all the way over here with the wire because it's just too long of a stretch. So what they did, not that they can't get a reel of wire that long, but it's too long to stretch through one piece of conduit the whole time. So they put a pull box right here that sits here, and that pull box just is a wire that comes from there. They pull it to here. They don't necessarily cut it off or anything. They just have it in here, and then they pull it over to the other spot. Now they may have cut it off. I don't know. I wasn't here when they did it, and it'll stay here forever. Just another part of the game when you're running a long distance. So that's something you got to take into consideration. If you're building a house 1,000 feet off of the road, you're going to have pull boxes. You're going to have all kind of different stuff like that.